In this episode, a young footballer is out on a training run. He's in Mozambique, and his regular route takes him along the banks of the Zambezi River. At the end of his run, he scrambles down to the river to splash some water on his face. But he should have waited for the showers, as an enormous crocodile launches itself out of the river and grabs him in its jaws. Hit like and subscribe. This is Fierce. It was evening time in Mozambique's western province of Tete. As the sun began to set, a coolness descended over the mighty Zambezi River. This incredible river is the fourth longest in Africa, carving its way through 7 different countries and over the Victoria Falls. It provides a lifeline for thousands of communities and a home to millions of animals, some of Africa's most dangerous animals. Hippos lie submerged in the murky waters, elephants amble down the muddy riverbanks for a drink, and crocodiles lurk in the shallows. In fact, the river is overrun with crocodiles, and they are causing a significant problem in Mozambique. Despite an economy that has grown dramatically since the end of the Civil War, the wealth of the country isn't trickling down to the masses. People in Mozambique are still desperately poor. Many live on the banks of the country's rivers. They drink the water, they bathe in it, and they wash their clothes and dishes there. The everyday mundane chores become life-or-death missions as more and more people are plucked from the riverbanks by the enormous crocodiles. The crocodiles that inhabit the Zambezi are Nile crocodiles. They can grow up to 5 meters or 16 feet long and weigh up to 750 kilograms or 1,650 pounds. It's considered one of the most dangerous species of crocodile in the world and is responsible for hundreds of human deaths every year. They are opportunistic and generalist predators. They take a variety of prey, from fish and birds to medium and large mammals such as antelope, zebra, and buffalo. They have also been observed scavenging, traveling hundreds of meters from the water to feast upon a carcass, sometimes even stealing a lion's kill. They are an important animal, vital for the ecosystem, but one which instills fear in people. They are naturally aggressive and can survive for weeks between meals, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike and take down their prey. Surprisingly, they are sociable animals. They tolerate each other in close proximity, often basking together, with the larger males taking the prime spots. They sometimes feed together in groups if a carcass is large enough. Both the males and the females protect their eggs, and once the young hatch, they provide some protection for them too, at least for a short period of time. But we humans rarely see that side of them. For locals living in close proximity to these apex predators, they bring terror and are feared by men and women, young and old. Over the decades, there's been a growing crocodile problem in Mozambique. Some of the reptiles have grown into enormous individuals that have wreaked havoc on rural communities. People go to the river to wash their dishes, never to return. They simply vanish in the thin air. There are beliefs of witchcraft and bad omens. Some people are trialed for conjuring up evil spirits in the form of crocodiles to take away people they don't like. The government seems reluctant to admit it has a problem. It half-heartedly tries to deal with the issue by culling crocodiles once a year, but this doesn't solve the problem. The cull usually takes the smaller crocodiles out of the water, as they are easier to catch. This makes room for the larger, more aggressive ones that are responsible for the growing number of attacks in Mozambique. One such crocodile was on the hunt on Thursday, the 16th of March, 2017. It remained concealed below the water's surface, waiting for the perfect ambush, patiently biding its time before the perfect opportunity to strike. It had been submerged for almost an hour, using its incredibly slow metabolism and efficient hemoglobin to hold its breath the entire time. There was no way anybody was able to spot it just feet from the riverbank. Its perfect opportunity to strike was closing in as 19-year-old Estevao Alberto Gino went jogging along the banks of the Zambezi that evening. He was running in the Tete province, 600 kilometers inland from where the Zambezi flows into the Indian Ocean. He was a fit young man and an excellent soccer player. He played center defense and was a force to be reckoned with on the soccer field. His team was Mozambique's second division club, Atlético Mineiro de Tete, They were a tight-knit team. They were brothers. He jogged along with two of his friends who were neighbors of his from his village. It was a light bit of exercise, something he did most evenings to keep up his fitness, a training regime that kept him in the game. As the three of them wound their way along the river, they chatted, following their usual route along the well-worn path until they came to the end of their run. They stopped beside the river, sucking in the cool evening air and shaking out their legs. He clambered down the riverbank and walked to the water. It was refreshing, just a quick cool-off before he headed home, ready for something to eat, ready for a rest, and then ready to start a new day. But he was being watched, not only by his two friends who remained high up on the bank, but by a lethal predator, the enormous crocodile that was submerged just below the surface, a see-through membrane protecting its eyes from the water as it watched the young man crouching just feet from where it lay. It didn't make a sound. It didn't move a muscle. Its knobby olive skin camouflaged under the reflective water. Then it chose its moment. In a split second, it launched itself out of the water. Its jaws opened wide, all 100 teeth on display. In that moment, Estevao had no time to react. He only felt a surge of adrenaline as he saw the water in front of him rise and the enormous head of a crocodile fly toward him. He tried to jump upwards and out of the way, but his reaction time wasn't quick enough. The crocodile grabbed him around his waist and tugged powerfully backward. Estevao gasped as the mouth clamped around him. He instinctively tried to pry open the jaws with his bare hands, but it was impossible. In an instant, Estevao was pulled off his feet and into the water, never to be seen again. His friends leapt backwards in horror. They screamed and yelled as their friend vanished beneath the surface of the Zambezi. It had all happened so quickly. One moment Estevao was there, and the next he was gone. There was no long, drawn-out wrestle, no chance for them to step in and attempt to save their friend. They had all been taken completely by surprise and completely off guard. All that was left of the attack were the ripples from where Estevao had been taken into the river. For a short time under the water, Estevao was likely fighting for his life. For a few terrifying minutes, he struggled to free himself. The crocodile, estimated to be around 5 meters or 15 feet long, pulled him downwards into the murky depths of the Zambezi, a place where the sunlight doesn't penetrate, where mud and silt rose up in clouds with the undercurrents. The crocodile held him firmly in its jaws, securing its prey with a bite force of 3,700 psi, compared to just 160 psi for that of a human. It would have performed a death roll, designed to drown its victims by disorienting them and knocking the air from their lungs. If Estevao hadn't bled to death by now, he would have drowned within minutes of being taken. His friends rushed to call local police. Emergency services arrived at the scene and scoured the water for any sign of the young footballer. No trace of him has ever been found. It was yet another devastating incident in which a person lost their life to the Zambezi's crocodiles. It seems the government needs to do more to tackle this problem.